It's day one of the E-League, and Luminosity is already disrespecting the competition. The current standings are Luminosity at the top 4-0, Cloud9 just behind them at 2-0, then we have Renegades 0-2, and to round out at the bottom for Group A, we have Team Liquid 0-4. Luminosity's first map, Cobblestone, was probably the only difficulty that they had throughout this entire day, ending in overtime in 1917. For the most part, Renegades was able to respond pretty adequately to LG's almost predictable and very easy to read B-site pushes. Most teams on the T side of Cobble favor that B site, and that's why we see on the CT side, Renegades is of course going to stack 4 people almost every single round. We do, however, start to see cracks in the setup towards the late game, which is probably the worst time you could imagine something like that would happen. LG wins a force buy of just pistols, pushing on to the B site against Renegade's full buy. Now that it's all tied up, a round or so later, and Luminosity is trying to close out the game by throwing them off and going to the A site, however, they failed to do so. coldzera is left in a 1 versus 2, where we see that Renegades is ultimately able to trade very effectively and force it into overtime. Now throughout most of this game, it's Fur who has the highest ADR in the lobby, but once we get into overtime, the dynamic of Taco and coldzera are able to close it out for LG for them to get their first win of the E-League. Now it's only right that when we get to Train, they 16-0 Renegades. After 15 straight CT rounds, they're able to close it out with that one last T round, and it was just the easiest Train win I've seen in a long time. Fur once again puts on a mask and his cape, has the highest ADR, or one of the highest ADRs in the lobby, and Taco just sat and watched his team 16-0 as he only had to go 7-6. Now against Liquid, we see Luminosity win 2-0 again. They're able to take Dust 2 with a monster T-side of 11 rounds. Fallen had some awesome entry kills with the AWP on several different occasions. The only player on Renegade's side that could handle FNX throughout most of the game was ELEAGUE. He had a 3-4 kill ratio. Otherwise, FNX was stomping on the competition. So as we get into map number 2, as meme-worthy as this is, Team Liquid chokes on the Cobble. A huge lead, and Luminosity is able to snowball it all the way back on that T side and win the game. Part of the catalyst of this whole snowball was a force buy that came from Team Liquid where they had like a scout, an AWP, and 2 pistols on their team. It was just a really weird buy and almost unnecessary. Fallen also had some pretty awesome pinches and flanks through connector when they were on their T side that closed out a couple of rounds. Now in Cloud9 versus Liquid in their only match, they go up 2-0. We actually get to see Cloud9 take 13 CT rounds on Dust 2. And while on the Team Liquid side of things, we did see some huge 3Ks of the likes of Kusta and ELEAGUE, but Nothing and Shroud were completely unmatched the entire game. Game 2 Cash is going to end 16-2 in Cloud9's favor, while Nothing keeps up the pressure going 22-9. Stewie2K drops almost 30 kills and is just farming montage clips. So overall, as a summary, Luminosity has displayed their dominance once again, and Liquid, not so much. Quite the opposite actually. You're watching esports on PvP Live.